Demonstrate an exercise that's intended to stretch the back of the hip. So what I want you to do is I want you to come into all fours, and if I'm going to stretch one side, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to swivel my legs 45 degrees, and now I'm going to take my outside leg here and go over like this. Now the key thing here is that I stay centered on my kneecap and I don't let myself flop out one way or the other. So I'm going to, by keeping my hip outside my knee, not excessively, but over here, I feel the back of my hip stretching over here. Now, this leg that's reaching back is going directly to 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock in this case. And the more I reach back, the more I feel a stretch here. But the key part about this is that setup. So when I put this knee down, if I'm not solid and I'm falling over, then I know that I'm ultimately too far over one side versus the other. So if I lift up for a sec, I shouldn't move. But the moment I'm there, I'm falling. So that's not steady. And here I'm loading that back of the hip. So a lot of people will do traditional pigeon and they crank that, and that's not what we're after here. So it's a swivel. I take my back leg out. I put my knee down. Can I stay tall or can I stay centered? Perfect. See how my hip is slightly outside my knee. Now to intensify the stretch, I can move it slightly more as long as I don't fall over. And the key thing here is a lot of people will be here. I want you to take this right hip or this zipper and turn down ever so slightly. Now when I turn down, again, I don't want to fall. So again, I'm here. I'm dropping this hip to the floor or zipper to the left into this leg, and I feel a big stretch here. And I could hold in this position, which feels like a nice loaded stretch for me, and I could scooch back. And if I go down now, again, I could go down here, huge amount of stretching in the back of the hip, and I put my forearms down here. This should feel like a back of the pocket, kind of the side here, as opposed to underneath. And I could go ahead and come down here and hold for 5 breaths, sending breath into the back of the hip. Remember not to fall over, but that same idea of dropping my hip down here and reaching, and I get a really good stretch of the back of the hip muscle. And breathing it out. If I wanted to do the other side, I'd swivel here, swivel this way, take my outside leg, reach behind, and find that area where I feel loaded, the weight's in my kneecap, my hands are out, and then I can put my hand down, ooh, big stretch in that hip, feels nice. Drop this zipper in without losing that. So if I drop down, I'm gonna fall. So that's always our barometer of knowing whether I'm in a really good spot. Good load through the hip, and come down and hold to get on this side. So maybe 2 sets of 5 breaths aside, exploring that even just holding this top position would be something to show that you're in control of and your hip muscles are working, not just in a stretchy way, but in a strengthening way to stabilize you in a pretty decently tough position. Give it a shot and let me know how it goes.